Well, at the age of 19, I joined the Navy. The homelessness came about around 1983 maybe. I lived under an overpass, and we made little rooms out of the beams. I lived like that.
I was working at the airport in Southwest Florida, but the traveling was tough. So I decided I better come on back to Boston. I stayed at my mom's when I could, and then I stayed at my aunt's when I could. But that didn't really work out.
I was out in the woods and been in and out of different, couple of sober houses. There's nothing much further to go. I mean, once you're down the bottom, it's a lonely feeling.
People don't understand what homelessness really is. Some people are afraid of homeless people. They're not. They're human beings like you and I, and to be able to give them a place to call their home, nobody should be homeless.
Our church back in the mid-'80s hosted the men's shelter for about 2.5 years. When the registry building became available, Father Bill had also been working on his own down at St. John's Church trying to help homeless people. And he was able, through his various connections, to procure a number of donated materials and labor and so forth to rehab the registry building from its former use as a registry into the shelter.
Well, it started, I was a volunteer at Catholic Charities, and Marie was the director of community service.
She used to drive to work in the morning and see all these poor guys and maybe some girls sleeping on the trestles and sleeping in back lots.
And we would put them up at a hotel for a night or two. And of course that wasn't enough. And some of these people were families. And that's when Marie really became passionate about it.
I didn't think I had a choice. You know, it was there to be done and do it, and that's all. So then all we had to do was find a place to have the permanent shelter in.
The mayor of Brockton at the time was Mayor Stadinsky. He said, I found you people a place. It's the old City Club. He says, go back and tell Marie I want to look at it.
We opened the door to that building, and we were just amazed. We said, this is it.
So we made a bid on it, and that's how we got MainSpring House. That turned into the shelter.
It was probably the best thing we ever did. The things we've been able to do since we merged with FatherBills and MainSpring have developed new housing, provide more homes for men, women, children, veterans. It's been incredible.
Individually, we try to save one life at a time, and we're doing that at FatherBills and MainSpring through innovation and just through caring.
We'd like to have more people in permanent housing and fewer people in the emergency shelter.
Shelters are not funded during the daytime. Individuals come in at 4:30 in the afternoon and they leave at 8 o'clock in the morning.
I think the sense of having your own home or your own apartment is really critical for people getting back to where they feel appreciated and are independent.
But in order to do that, we need to have other housing alternatives in place to move people into so that they can go from being homeless into being housed.
And the rooms are beautiful.
There are 32 units. Each unit has a studio apartment.
It's about 407 square feet. They'll have their own bathroom, their own kitchenette, their own closet.
All the facilities that a good kitchen should have, and plenty of place for a bed, and a place for a little sofa, and a place for a writing desk.
And veterans will be able to stay here for 2 years, and then hopefully be able to move on to first-time home buyer opportunities and or into the private market We'll also be housing people that have been homeless the longest and or are severely disabled, and also people that are in our Work Express training programs.
It is a model nationwide, and it is a model of which FatherBills and MainSpring is taking the lead here in Massachusetts.
And actually, a facility like this cannot run on government programs. For one thing, the government doesn't cover all the things that are necessary, but also half the programs wouldn't be here if it wasn't for personal contributions.
And unfortunately, the service piece, that supportive piece, that staffing piece, is the piece that private resources will pay for.
We're struggling to meet the need in our Southeast Massachusetts area.
What we need from the local community is that to all the gaps that the government doesn't fund. You know, they only fund 60% of our shelter programs, costs of our shelter programs, and we don't turn anybody away on any given night.
The need is going to always be there for FatherBills and MainSpring, because as long as there are homeless people out there, FatherBills and MainSpring will always be there to open the doors, welcome them in, and give them a place they call home.
I want to thank FatherBills and MainSpring for everything that has happened to me since I've been here. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be where I'm at now.
It's helped me quite a bit. I've stayed sober. I'll be sober in 1 year in March. Yeah, that feels good. I really feel good about that.
Well, today I'm a person of dignity, strength, experienced, and I have hope. And it seems to work.